Hello and welcome to the second annual Big Rican on Sports live draft reaction here on the Big Rican on Sports Facebook page, on Twitter through Periscope, and of course the Big Rican on Sports YouTube channel. So tonight, going to have a couple of guests. Alex from Row 7 is going to jump on for a minute. Tone from Cardboard and Cracker Jacks and the Bucketeers podcast will also jump on for a minute. But this is one that's not going to be recorded for audio. This is just going to be on the video platform. I will share it later as well. But we're not going to get audio for this one just on the podcast site. This will only be a video. So here we are, the 2021 NFL Draft. We are through the combine. We are through the guys running around in T-shirts and shorts. We are here for the picks to be made. Now, here's the cool thing. The reason I'm doing it this year, last year was because it was the first year I was around for the draft to do with the podcast. This year it's different. As I sit and watch the television behind me, the draft is in Cleveland, and Cleveland has come to party. Kings of Leon was just on. Ann Wilson did a great rendition of the national anthem. To kick off the night, a choir group from the inner city in Cleveland, which, by the way, the name sounded familiar, the director. I'm pretty sure he's the guy who was there when I was in choir in Cleveland a dog's age ago. So, really quick update on a little guy. Bobby, who I introduced to the podcast world last week, is doing great. We're hoping to have him home sooner rather than later. So there's been some other changes with the podcast. One, I have on my TimeSkew shirt because I keep forgetting to mention that Big Rican on Sports is a proud member of the TimeSkew Podcast Network. Guys, I'm sorry I keep forgetting. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Something else has happened as they show Baker from a couple years ago. I gave up thinking my hair's going to grow back. So that's why I have a hat on, because if not, that's a lot of glare coming from this side. So let's talk. It's only going to be 2 hours because I am a little bit older and I do have stuff to do tomorrow. So I'm only going to be on until 10 o'clock. But Tones is going to jump in with each pick. We're going to talk about what the pick means for the teams. We're going to talk about where we would have went if it was something different. We're going to talk about what the impact of the players can be. So I've been talking to people on social media. I've been talking to, especially on Twitter. And we're talking about the quarterbacks because, unfortunately, for the NFL draft, the quarterbacks are always the big ticket item. Going number one overall, unless it's a pass rusher, like Myles Garrett did a few years ago, and like the newest Cleveland Brown, Jadeveon Clowney went just a couple of years before that when he went to the Houston Texans. So let's talk about the quarterbacks quick. We all know who's going to go number one, unless Urban Meyer has a Sonny Weaver Jr. moment from draft day, and he has a little sticky note in his back pocket, and he drops it, and then he's showing Justin Fields' house in Kennesaw, Georgia, where his whole family is gathered. Fields is not at the draft. I will get into my opinion on that in just a minute. So, first of all, Fields should be at the draft, in my opinion. He went to Ohio State. It's in Cleveland. He should be at the draft, but that's just me. Yeah. Now, my son Zachary will also be chiming in.
I think he's probably didn't do this semester on campus because they had football in the fall. He was like, "I'm not going back. I don't have a reason to."
Yeah, I think he might have graduated early too.
Most people. It's actually surprising because when you're in high school and college, you have that jock thing where you think jocks are stupid. I feel like that was back. No offense, back in your day. Like,
you mean the dog's age ago that when I was in high school?
Yeah, like it didn't matter if Jock was smart, they still got copy.
That's true.
That's kind of like the cliche.
I told you the underwater basket weaving story about Andy Katzenmoyer. Well, look who's here. It is Alex from Row 7. I don't know if you just heard Zach chiming in, my oldest boy. Fields isn't at the draft, which I'm surprised about.
That's true.
That's interesting.
You would think he would be, considering it's in Cleveland, and that's Ohio State territory.
Sign of news to come, maybe? Maybe he knows something we don't?
I'm sure he knows a lot of things we don't. So, hey, thanks for hopping on. You see Tones is set up in there. He just hasn't been here yet. So let me drop him out real quick, and then you and I can talk about this stuff. All right, so
really quickly too.
Huh?
I got to show you something really quickly too. I picked this up online. I found this website. I don't know if you'll like this or not, but got myself a Griffey Jr. baseballism.
Baseballism.
Yes, sir.
I love those dudes. That's nice.
Sick, right?
That is sick.
I'm gonna dine it for the episode because I just got it in the mail a couple days ago. It was back ordered for like 6 to 8 weeks, so I finally picked it up from my mailbox. So glad I got it.
That's pretty cool, man.
Griffey Jr. is one of my go-to guys. One of the guys who put me onto baseball for sure. So
that's great, dude. Yeah, I just figured out that it was still coming through my my earpiece. I'm using the earbuds. I'm not using the microphone tonight.
Oh, gotcha.
Because like I said, I don't know if you caught the beginning. This isn't the audio is not going on to Anchor or any place. This is just going to be the video.
Okay.
And what have you. It's funny because my wife is doing a live for her business right now at the same time. I just got the notification.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hang on a minute. My father just sent to me, your old city looks good. Dad, it's still home no matter where I live. So I'm going to get to this with Tones, but I want to get to this with you right now. What is going on with Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, boy. I mean, we're getting bits and pieces of information. Obviously, we know that he's not happy. He maybe wants out or wants them to solve his problems for him. But, I mean, that proposed, I guess, trade that you mentioned to me over messaging is quite interesting. You know, he could go back home. I said before in the podcast, I don't know if it was with you or on my own, that he wants to go back home. So
I think it was both, to be honest with you, bro.
Okay, it's quite possible.
So yeah, no, my best friend on the planet, and both Zachary and Robert's godfather, his sister lives in Titletown, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
He has a picture of Brett Favre riding his bike at Packers training camp from 1993. So this dude's a huge Packer fan, and he I can't hear you very good with both these in. He is a massive Packers fan, and when I talked to him earlier, he basically was ready to just throw punches.
I mean, we know it's not good. We know the relationship is soured, but I mean, I did not realize it was to this point where just so happens, like you mentioned, on draft day that, you know, blank hit the fan, I guess you can say.
Oh, exactly. So let's talk about that perceived trade. And then when Roger comes up with the first pick, which will be like in 45 minutes. Dude, last year when Frank, who did the draft with us, and I did this, I was on for 3 hours. I only got to 22.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I know it's going to be a long night.
Dude, I'm shot. I can't do this. I can't be on here for forever. So here's what I'm thinking. That trade right there could just be an insane trade that gets done very, very late in this draft. Let's say the draft goes exactly to the parameters that were listed in Nick Wright's idea. That means the Chicago Bears would get Jordan Love. Did you watch a lot of him in college? Did you watch any of him in the preseason? What are your feelings about Jordan Love? Because I'll tell you what mine are. You regressed in your senior year of college or your last year of college. You shouldn't be going in the top of the draft.
I got to be honest with you. I don't know much about him. I know he's a UCLA kid, right?
Nevada.
Okay, there we go. That just shows you exactly how in depth I've done any research about him. But I mean, I don't know. When you consider the current situation that we're in here in Chicago, would it be considered an upgrade going from Foles to Dalton to Love if that was the case?
I don't know. I mean, he's such an unknown. Now they're doing the thing on the schedule because apparently New England plays Tampa this year. September.
I'm also watching here. I got my phone here. I'm watching it. I got a little stand here, so I'm watching the live feed as well of ESPN. So,
yeah, I have it on the HD. on the TV. And I got the soundbar remote right here, which I had a freak out because it stopped working the other night.
Oh gosh.
I think I need a new data cable.
Okay.
Oh, your sister's watching. Kate, your brother says hello. So she and my daughter actually asked me about Rodgers, so I want to go there with you first.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an interesting stat that I saw on Twitter after I talked to you guys. No Packer quarterback has ever played 17 seasons. Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers have all gotten to 16. One retired. One got traded to the stupid Jets. I know you do, Kate. I was just telling your brother. Of course, Rodgers now, is he going to play in San Francisco or does he want to go back to California to be the full-time host of Jeopardy?
I mean, I knew he wants to go back home. But I mean, if you have that option out there where you don't have to worry about getting hit anymore, you can wear a suit a couple hours a day. You got to be in the studio recording. Not a bad gig, if you ask me, and I'm sure not bad money either.
We were talking about Zachary wants to be an athletic trainer. So he was looking online at places that are good for it and what have you. And the first school that popped up was that stupid team up north. Yeah. So, of course, a couple downers, Ohio State. I didn't forbid him from going there.
It sounds like you did, though.
It's been implied. Rodgers there with Joe Thomas and Bernie Kosar. Who's that behind him? That's Jarvis. Is it Jarvis?
Why is there that old looking chair there?
I bet you that chair's for Jim Brown. That is Jarvis. I'm going to turn on the audio, okay? Hang on a second.
Welcome to the 2021 NFL Draft.
Oh, good. They're booing him.
Why are they booing him?
They always boo the commissioner because he's a jackass. Okay, so here's the question. Cleveland is the star of the show tonight with it being in Cleveland. Is this going to be like draft day? Does Urban Meyer have a sticky note in his pocket that says Justin Fields no matter what?
I think if you want to shock the world, I wouldn't be shocked. I would go for it. I'd pull that trigger. But that's just me.
I would too, but that would be the Sonny Weaver mic drop moment and would set the world on fire because now you got to figure if that's done, Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jets.
Right.
At number 3, Zach Wilson goes to San Francisco.
Right.
Or they make the trade. Zach's watching Letterkenny on his phone. Have you ever watched that show, Sidebar?
No.
If you have Hulu,
mm-hmm.
I recommend it. It is maybe the funniest thing I've ever watched.
Okay.
And I grew up on Mel Brooks and Airplane and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I do have Hulu, so.
Yeah, it's a Canadian TV show that was on Crave.
Okay.
Caitlin, Aaron Rodgers is not going to the Pats. If Rodgers is traded to San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo, who was Bill Parcells' original replacement for Brady, will go back to New England. He's talking about the chair.
I think my feet is just a tad bit behind yours, so.
Oh, they're putting fans in that chair. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. They're putting a fan in the chair of the team that's picking. And Jarvis picked him out. That's awesome.
Nice. That's cool.
That is cool. I like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's kind of like a good way to welcome, get the fans back, back in and kind of welcome them back.
And listen, you're talking about one of the greatest football cities in the country, in Cleveland. Chicago's another great one. Hold on. It's Joe Thomas. Here we go. I like it. Joe Thomas is leading the crowd in the "Here we go Brownies" chant. That
Boy,
dude is an icon.
Wait.
Yeah, he has. Did you see he did those Titan games with The Rock? This
He's
dude
a
is
different person.
He is, and I'll tell you what, he is the one that wanted them to pick Jedrick Wills last year. Which, when Frank and I did our mock draft and we did the thing draft night, I said it. If Joe Thomas gives you the seal of approval on an offensive lineman, you take that offensive lineman.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. If you ask me.
No, I agree. So back to what would happen now that Jacksonville's officially on the clock. If Urban Meyer has his Sonny Weaver moment, and I love talking about this because we all know who played Vontae Mack in draft day.
Mm-hmm.
So if he has, there's Urban.
The Twitter world would expire.
Twitter, it would have to shut down.
Yes, it would explode.
The only other time it would explode is if the Mets scored runs for Jacob deGrom, but we'll go into that later.
I was hoping that you were gonna tap into that because boy,
I already told Tone I'm going off.
I'm looking forward to it because
I've had it. Steve Cohen was asked today, "What do you suggest for Met fans on an off day?" He said Xanax.
Yeah, that's
the Met owner said that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, look at. I'm not gonna badmouth him because I think he's a talented player and he's worth the money. But what you're getting right out of Francisco Lindor is not $300+ million worth.
I agree. Now here is hello sunshine. Here is they're showing Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Here's the thing about Lindor. I can lean on as a Met fan. Not a lot of people remember Carlos Beltran's 2005 was an abomination. An absolute abomination. In 2005, the Mets didn't have this pitching. They didn't have the supporting cast around Carlos Beltran. They had an aging Mike Piazza, a very young Jose Reyes and David Wright, both playing in their first full seasons. You didn't have a Jacob deGrom, a Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, who hit a bomb last night. So you didn't have those guys. So if Lindor has an off year, which could happen switching leagues, we've all seen it. If he has an off year this year, remember, Beltran hit 280, 41, and a $130 in 2006 and stole 25 bags and won a Gold Glove. If you're telling me take a year to get used to the league and when your new deal actually kicks in, you do something like that, because he'd go 30-30 without breaking a sweat.
Right.
So listen, I'll take
and
it.
I only say that. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I only say that, and it's early in the season. I'm jumping the gun right here. We're about a month in right now. He could get hot. You know, the writing is not on the wall that says he's going to have a terrible year by any means, but it's just, you know, it could be that the whole transition to a different league might need a little bit more time than normal, and it happens to good players all across the league.
It really does, and you know, even the great hitters. Pujols had a down year his first year in Anaheim. Miggy had a down year his first year in Detroit. You know, down compared to what we were expecting. I don't. Down is not the word I'm looking for. They had tough years their first years there, but listen, he is still playing Gold Glove caliber defense. He is. I love that. I absolutely. They should have put Griffey's picture on the back.
I agree,
because that would have been better. He actually did that at the end of his Hall of Fame speech.
The pose?
The hat backwards.
Oh, the hat. All right.
I was there that day.
Oh, you were?
I went up to Piazza.
Oh, man.
Let me put it to you this way. I went up that day, and I have never ingested that much liquid and not had to use the restroom. It was 97 degrees with 100% humidity. I got there 3.5 hours before they started talking. I was a quarter mile away.
Oh, my God.
It's in an open field behind the high school in Cooperstown. and I was up on a hill. Now, granted, I saw a guy I knew from where I live, 25 feet that way. There were 50,000 Met fans there that day. And every one of us.
Go ahead.
Who's what?
Who was in that draft in that class besides Piazza?
Those two.
Oh,
it was just, so you're talking the best catcher of the 90s into the 2000s and the best all-around player were in the same draft Hall of Fame class. Drafted a year apart from each other. Obviously, Griffey is the first ever number 1 overall pick to go into the Hall of Fame. Piazza is the lowest pick of all time to go in the Hall of Fame. What a day. First of all, Griffey should have been unanimous. Whoever didn't vote for Griffey needs a right hook.
You're not kidding.
It just bothers me. Oh, look. They're showing video of Dwayne Haskins when they're talking about Trevor Lawrence. How about stop? Oh, that was against Northwestern, too.
Oof.
That was the Big Ten championship against Northwestern. Wow, that was a good play. Listen, and getting back into football, obviously, because you and I can go baseball all night, and it is the NFL draft.
Right.
So talking about Lawrence, it's not that I dislike Trevor Lawrence. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he also, your brother's commenting.
My brother?
Your brother's watching.
What's he saying?
He just said, let's go with 4 O's.
Okay.
So I like him as a quarterback. Here is my thing, and I said this about Tua, and I'll say this about Trevor Lawrence. When he played against teams who could play with him, who had requisite talent to be on the same field, he's 2-2. He's 2-2. He's a 500 quarterback. His numbers were better than Tua's when Tua played against teams that were comparable to him. Tua's numbers were garbage. Lawrence was better. I mean, he has big wins. He wins a national title against Alabama his freshman year. He beats Ohio State in a very controversial Fiesta Bowl his sophomore year. But he laid an egg in that. Did he get married?
Who was that?
Dude sporting hardware. Lawrence, look at his hand.
What?
I knew he got engaged. I didn't know him and his girl got married. Urban, take Justin. Light the world on fire. So I want to see what Tone says about that.
Where did he go? He left, or is he coming back, or what?
He's going to pop in whenever they make the picks.
Oh, okay.
And I just add him on. So however long you can be here, great. I'm cool. He's going to pop in and out. And like I said, I'm only on till 10. So however many picks we get through till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll probably hang on for an hour and change. So
that's cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, we're going to do the reaction show. I'm going to have a bunch of people on, or you guys on for that. I'm going to figure out how to record without having to do it live. That'd be awesome. Hold on, Kate. They're going to take the entire clock, and they already know who they're taking. This is the most ridiculous part of the draft. We're 23 minutes into the draft, and pick is in. Here we go.
You're gonna have to spoil it for me because I'm behind over here.
All right, so Shefty is losing his mind. Behind him, you have the building where they had the rally for the Cavaliers when they won the NBA championship. If you notice, if they do a sky shot of Public Square, you'll recognize that from the original Avengers movie. That's where they filmed the scene in Germany where Loki gets whooped by Iron Man and Captain America. So yeah, it's cool to see my other hometown being featured like this.
It's got to be pretty nice.
They had one in Chicago, didn't they?
Yeah, 15, 16 around the same. 2015, 2016, I think. One of those years.
I like the travel and draft.
I also enjoy it as well, too. especially when you can include fans and have it be outdoors and stuff like that, and really get people from across the country and across the globe to support their team.
Yeah, that's nice. Pretty cool. Yeah, I here's another one you got to look up to watch later. Look up Pat McAfee announcing the draft pick for the Colts in Nashville a couple of years ago.
Oh gosh,
it's a WWE promo. It really is. And the funny thing is, it was Bobby Okereke, the guy they took.
Mm-hmm.
So Roger's coming to the podium, so we're going to listen to the pick.
All right. You want to crank that volume on your end? Because I see the take the stage right now, so.
It's in my earbud.
Oh, okay. That's not a big deal.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence.
As predicted since the beginning of the college football season, Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 overall to the Urban Meyer-helmed Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know where Tone is, but the pick is in. Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 overall pick. Alex, no surprise there. Let me ask you this. With Lawrence's gameplay, they were talking about an urban scheme, but they were showing Dwayne Haskins throwing the ball, which means the scheme they are talking about is Ryan Day's scheme. Hold on. And he's got his Bucs jersey on, ladies and gentlemen, from the Buccateers podcast, wearing all of his Super Bowl stuff. I bring you the Tone.
What up, boys? How we doing tonight? Great night. It's draft night, one of my favorite nights of the year. And the first pick wasn't a shock. It wasn't a doubt. It was a no-brainer, and the Jaguars need it, and we'll see if it pays off.
So before I saw you coming back into the room, Tone. I was talking to Alex about this. They were showing the video montage of Lawrence's skills in an Urban Meyer scheme. The problem with that is they were showing Dwayne Haskins, which means the scheme they were showing was actually Ryan Day's scheme, because he brought an all-new thing to Ohio State when he came on.
Right.
I don't know if you heard any of the other stuff, but I was rooting for Urban to take Justin Fields and to set the world on fire.
Yeah, the back pocket.
Like Devontae Mack, no matter what, sticky note.
See, the thing is, people forget just what was that a couple months ago when the college football playoffs were going on. A lot of people at one point in time speculated that Justin Fields, based on his play at that point in time and based on what Ohio State was doing, that he actually could have surpassed Trevor Lawrence draft stock. And a lot of people speculated with Urban Meyer being number 1 overall pick with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had an Ohio State tie. One thing led to another, and obviously we see where we stand now. It wasn't, but I think that would have been awesome if Justin Fields was.
Yeah, I do too. And if we get to number 3 and it goes the way I think it's going to go, you're going to hear a lot of things out of my mouth that aren't going to be very becoming. I don't know if you saw Tone, if you saw Alex and I the other night, who I informed the world who the last good Alabama quarterback was. Do you know the answer to that question, Tom?
The last good Alabama quarterback, they haven't had, well, Tua. I mean,
first of all, Tua, there's a reason Fitzmagic was closing games for them.
Jalen Hurts, he was a good one.
He was okay. I'm talking before this last draft, because we don't know what Tua and Jalen Hurts are going to be.
Okay.
And this is a shot. This is a shot at people taking shots at Ohio State quarterbacks because they haven't developed them. They haven't. Ohio State's been either a ground and pound where you don't throw the ball with 3 yards in a cloud of dust, or they've been a
Joe Namath, my dad's saying.
Your dad is partially correct because Ken Stabler came out after Joe Namath.
Ken Stabler.
But the last decent Alabama quarterback was none other than Richard Todd, who was drafted by the New York Jets the year Joe Namath went to the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow.
It's been 40 years. But all of a sudden, Mac Jones is the savior.
I don't think Mac Jones is a savior. I'm not sure what the hype is on Mac Jones, but while we stick with the Trevor Lawrence pick here real quick, I just want to break down something for the Jaguars offense last year. They got outpaced by opponents. They ended up getting crushed in total yardage. total passing yards, even with all that garbage time passing, they still almost got outpassed by 700 yards. So that's terrible. Total offense, they got outlapsed by 1,500 yards, nearly 1,460. Trevor Lawrence is going to look to come in, get that offense under control. They do have some weapons with James Robinson and Laviska Shenault, Keelan Cole, and DJ Chark. You know, they do have some star power and some weapons there. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence could equate his college game to the pros. We know he only had 5 interceptions last year. His passer rating was almost 170, 169 to be exact. And we know he was a winner at the collegiate football level. We'll see if him and Urban Meyer could gel.
I think they can gel. And remember, they also brought in Carlos Hyde to play running back, another Urban Meyer disciple.
Yeah.
What's their line look like? Because the Jags played the Browns last year, and I know this was Myles Garrett's first game back after COVID, and they still got a ton of pressure.
I would not be surprised to see them address the offensive line position tomorrow for sure. I mean, you have Trevor Lawrence now, so you're going to want to do everything you can to protect him. They do have Andrew Norwell, one of the highest paid linemen, playing left guard. Cam Robinson's a young tackle. Jawan Taylor too, but they can do some upgrading on the offensive line for sure, particularly the interior O-line. So look for them to make that happen and maybe get Trevor Lawrence some passing protection, along with, let's not forget, their good young running back in James Robinson.
Yeah, and they got, like I said, they got Carlos Hyde to tandem with James Robinson, which I think is great because it was Carlos Hyde who brought Nick Chubb along that first year. So yep. I like that move. What was it, Alex? What were we talking about before he jumped down? Oh, so we were talking about the Ryan Day scheme. Does Jacksonville have the weapons to run that kind of scheme? I mean, we've been talking about Ohio State for a couple of years, the three of us. Do they have those kind of home run hitters that Columbus keeps seeming to churn out? Alex, I want to go to you first and see what you think just from the names that he brought in. And by the way, pick number 2 is in. Big shock. We know who it's going to be.
I'll be right back.
All right, cool.
Let's hear the pick first, and then we'll dive into that.
We know who the pick is. It's the Jets. They're taking Zach Wilson.
But just, the suspense.
Suspense. It's the Jets.
Listen.
I'm not getting a 20, so you and I are going to talk tomorrow. I'm not getting a 20, so you and I are going to have a chat tomorrow via text message. And I got to send you more pictures, by the way. He did some cute stuff today.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the kid? Oh, he was hilarious.
Yeah? How's he doing?
He's doing great.
Excellent.
We went downstairs to grab lunch. 5 minutes before he came back up, he ripped that tube out of his nose.
In the 2021 NFL Draft,
The New York Jets select Zach Wilson.
So I know you asked me a question, but I just want to ask you this really quickly. I seen this prop bet on where did I see Barstool Sports?
Okay.
Over 6.5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Would you believe it? You think the under?
I think it's under.
Under. What are you saying? 5? 4?
I think 5 go in the first round. Here's a name to look for late, and that's Kyle Trask out of Florida.
Okay.
By the way, it's being projected right now that my call from our mock draft with Frank, who couldn't be on today, he was going to be on, but he had some stuff come up. Kyle Pitts will go number 4 to the Atlanta Falcons.
I mean, I seen it coming. It was going to be 3 quarterbacks and then
him.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Tones, we bring you back in as I see you pop down in front of the camera. Another shocker, Zach Wilson to the New York Jets.
He might have had the most exponential draft stock rising I've ever seen within the past 5-6 months or so, starting in November, leading into bowl season, then leading into the draft preparation and what.
Oh,
Zach, sorry, you dropped off. My bad.
No, you're good. I'm sorry about that. Zach Wilson had good intangibles at BYU. He led them to a winning season, but he somehow surpassed Fields, Trey Lance, and a handful of other quarterbacks. So I'm interested to see what he could bring. He kind of reminds me a little bit of, Sam Darnold, the old guy they just had in New York. They obviously traded Sam Darnold to Carolina. He gets a fresh start there, and Carolina trades Teddy B. So Zach Wilson, he comes in at only the age of 21 to a New York media that if you struggle at quarterback there, you're going to get told you're struggling at quarterback there. So he's going to have a lot to deal with in New York. He has the lights on him now. In college, obviously, he did good last year, 3,600 plus yards passing. He had 10 rushing touchdowns there on 250 yards on the ground, and 33 passing touchdowns compared to 3 interceptions. That's at BYU. It'll be interesting to see how it translates, and I'm real interested to see the Jets hired a defensive coach, and they took a quarterback with their very high pick. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with their quarterback, Zach Wilson.
Well, let me throw this out there before I toss this to Alex. The last time the New York Jets did that, it was Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez, and that was 2 consecutive trips to the AFC Championship game.
True.
That was when I was actually, following the Jets. Here's the difference with Bob Saleh and bringing in Zach Wilson. They still need to address some severe deficiencies on that offensive line. Becton is a beast, an absolute beast, but there's nobody else. Everybody says to me, "Oh, well, they beat the Browns." They beat the Browns when the entire team had COVID. So that doesn't do anything for me. So obviously, Alex, Zach Wilson, for the last few weeks, this has been the Jets guy. People have been throwing picks upon picks upon picks at the Jets to get to number 2, to take somebody else. Wilson goes number 2. So far, this is as scripted.
As scripted.
So now we get to number 3.
This is the doozy right here.
This is the one that could be just insane. So they're talking about the quarterbacks the Jets have taken in the first round. 65, of course, Joe Namath. The year they get rid of him, there's Richard Todd, 1976. Ken O'Brien went before Dan Marino. Chad Pennington, I actually called that pick when I was just a shade after 21 and had a lot of liquor in me. Sanchez, of course, is out of all of those, besides Namath, the winningest quarterback in that group. Because no one remembers, Mark Sanchez won 35 games as a starter for the New York Jets.
He's the Sanchez. Come on.
It was insanity. I mean, that team was so good defensively and so complimentary offensively. Figure it this way. They had Peyton Manning on the ropes. They had a lead in the second half in the first one. They don't come out flat against the Steelers. It's Jets-Packers in that Super Bowl.
My brother and dad were at that Colts-Jets game.
Were they really?
Yep.
Here's one for you. My buddy Nick, who I've had on the podcast before, right before the play, I sent him a text. Pump fake, play action, pump fake, Braylon Edwards down the sideline, 7-0 Jets. Next play. They were playing off on Braylon all night, and he took off. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
So, Alex, going to you, with it being as scripted, which means this is the first question mark. His tone's going to pop off for just a second. This is going to be the first question mark. So, really, it's come down to you can't do a coin flip. It's got to be rock, paper, scissors because Trey Lance has made a late entry into this conversation. If you are Shanahan and John Lynch and your jobs are on the line, who are you taking?
I got to go Justin Fields. I have no qualms about it.
Just ticking you off, or is that serious? I'm just playing with you.
No, I mean that's just me, and I know there's been a lot of conversation to kind of try and sway people to the Mac Jones situation, but I've not seen enough of him to buy into him entirely. I'm not knocking him, not saying he could be great. We've seen guys who have been drafted high and flail. We've seen guys who've been drafted late and become like legends. So not writing them off, but as far as to basically mortgage your franchise in a sense to trade up to do this, you better hope he's all that in a bag of chips.
Well, the pick is in.
Okay.
So now we get to see if I turn as red as my time skew shirt or if I get excited. Now, listen, Justin Fields for 2 years at Ohio State was, in my opinion, the best quarterback Ohio State has ever had. And I'm talking, I go way, I mean, I am a historian of this program as well as a fan. I go back to Schleister. I go back to the days of Woody Hayes and through the Urban Meyer era. Justin Fields is the best quarterback I've ever seen play at Ohio State. Scary part, they got 3 dudes who could be better now. So the pick is in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I want to turn up the volume and throw something or what's going to happen.
Whoa, I just seen a tweet right now. This is going to shock you. The 49ers are going to take Trey Lance.
Stop it.
This guy from a verified account just tweeted that. So you want to shock the world? Here's your shock.
Trey Lance posted the 49ers are taking Trey Lance.
My son just said, yeah, Trey Lance just posted that the 49ers are taking Trey Lance. Somebody else just put Trey Lance on here.
Wow.
Was that Lindsay okay? Was that Lindsay okay that you saw did that?
No, Connor Hughes. He works for The Athletic. He covers the Jets for The Athletic.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
With the third pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback.
Trey Lance.
Wow.
From North Dakota State University.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
Didn't see it coming. Did not see it coming.
And I don't like his suit. All right. Well, that's a lot to unpack. Trey Lance, who played Tony's back.
Wow. And I told my brother yesterday it was going to be Trey Lance. And I told my dad right now, Mac Jones is a smokescreen. But then I almost convinced myself, why the hell would they be smokescreening? Pardon my French. Why the heck would they be smokescreening with Mac Jones when they have the third pick? And obviously, if anyone traded up to 1 or 2 would be Wilson or Lawrence. So, I thought Lance the whole time, and then I almost convinced myself otherwise. But it's Trey Lance, and I'm so happy North Dakota State continues to produce quarterbacks. Carson Wentz to Easton Stick, who is a backup. He got drafted in the mid-rounds. Now he's a backup on the Chargers. And now Trey Lance, 3 consecutive starting QBs for North Dakota State are now in the NFL. Great to see. Trey Lance only had 1 game last year in the COVID-ridden season. It was a showcase game, some called it. Let's be honest, you can't really get a guy's true draft stock in 1 game, especially, when they've been away from their team the whole season. So we'll see what happens. I think Trey Lance is a great fit, and I also think they went with Trey Lance because he's a very different prototype quarterback than Jimmy G. Jimmy G's a pocket passer. Trey Lance is a slash and dash with the ground game and his arm. I think he's got a little bit of a better styled he's got that Colin Kaepernick old school feel to him when Colin Kaepernick first took the team over, and they almost won the Super Bowl. So that's how that's a comparison I see as early Kaepernick to Trey Lance.
Go ahead.
Now
Alex,
looking at it,
I'm watching the video.
Not just looking at it now. I think that like Tone's kind of attested to a little bit there. He really kind of, in a sense, fits the mold of what Shanahan wants out of a quarterback. When I look at it,
here's what I see, which I think kind of bothered Shanahan. He is a quick release as compared to Justin Fields, a very quick release. I hadn't seen much of him, not just because of just a showcase game. You know what? Bald head's coming out. Yeah, Tone, I gave up on my hair.
Oh, hey, no, we're watching. Me and my dad have us on the main screen and then the draft on the smaller screen, actually. So we're watching. I'm watching. Even when I'm not in the room, I'm watching. And my Pops is out there watching right now.
Well, hello to Pops.
Yes, he's the one who chimed in with the Joe Namath answer. So credit to him for the partial correction there.
Absolutely. So with Trey Lance, I see Justin Fields with a quicker release, with a shorter with shorter mechanics. So I get it. If you need the shorter mechanics in a West Coast type offense, perfect. I see the pick. Again, I don't know a whole lot about him, but that makes number 4 even more intriguing. Because now Kyle Pitts is supposed to go 4.
Why don't you trade down if you're Atlanta? I'm sorry. Tight end is not worth the 4th pick. I'm sorry.
He's not just going to be a tight end. This is the best pass catcher in the draft.
I know. He's going to be a wide receiver pretty much. But
here's my question. With Trey Lance going 3, do you take the quarterback? Matty Ice is 37.
Why don't you trade down, take Fields, accumulate picks? Boom.
I don't think you're going to be able to trade down and take Fields. I honestly believe – what's the draft order here? So
trade down a couple. You could trade down a couple and still get him or Mac. I'm not really huge on Mac, but
your brother just tweeted that he called Lance to the 49ers.
I told him yesterday. But sure.
So we got Atlanta next, then Cincinnati, and then Miami are the next 3.
See, since you don't need a QB.
No, but since he's going to screw it up and take a wide receiver instead of taking Penny Sewell.
They need Penny Sewell to protect their injured young QB.
Who are you talking to? I lived through Tim Couch.
You know what I'm saying, though? We're all thinking the same thing.
So Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami, Detroit, we're probably only going to get to the Giants at 11 before I shut it down because I got to get up early and run around. Baby's still not home. I feel that. I'll send you pictures of the little guy too.
But yeah, please do. Is this going okay, by the way? Me in and out?
Oh, dude, you're good. Alex and I are filling in. I can fill in when Alex is done.
I just don't have a TV in here, so I like to see the picks, and then I like to run back in.
Oh, no, I got you. Last time quarterback selected first, second, and third in the same class was the 1999 NFL Draft. Tim Couch at 1, Donovan McNabb at 2, and Achilles Smith at number 3.
Well, I'd rather have Tim Couch in one of those, so that's good.
Oh man. Okay, so the first three picks when it's advertised 3 quarterbacks. The Falcons pick is in. Alex, do you honestly take a quarterback here if you're the GM in Atlanta now that Justin Fields is still on the board, or do you take Kyle Pitts and give Matty Ice some weapons to go with Julio Jones? Mind you, they need help on the offensive line too.
I mean, when you think about it, like you mentioned, Matty Ice is late 30s, right? 37, you said?
Yeah.
Not a bad idea to kind of invest in your future and potentially get yourself a quality quarterback or your stud for the future. That's just me. But I get where you're coming from in terms of what Kyle Pitts can bring to the table, but how much left is in the tank of Matty Ice?
Yeah, and especially with now the offensive Louis Riddick is going off. I like him. I really do. All the ESPN talking heads, I really can't stand a lot of them, but him I like.
I've tweeted at him countless times to become the general manager of the Chicago Bears, and no reply. No reply.
He doesn't want the job.
But he sounds like a fan, but he's not interested.
Listen, you should tweet at them that you want the job. You'd probably do it better.
Oh, I don't want it either.
All right, so they're bringing the dude to the thing. Look at the size. That dude could have played tailback in the NFL. Look at the size of that dude. All right, here we go.
Here's the commissioner. With the 4th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. So the number 1 pass catcher, as I said, what in God's name is he wearing?
Well, that's kind of cool.
He should have been picked by the Packers. The dude is wearing green and yellow.
Wow.
Who do you think you get picked by? He's clearly not happy about it.
He went number 4 in the draft. He's going to make how much in a signing bonus? A couple million?
Oh, at least.
I'm waiting for Tone to come flying back in. So as I said in our mock draft, and as I said to you on our NFL hot stove, Kyle Pitts is the first skill position player off the board. He brings wide receiver speed in a tight end body. He's basically Gronk if Gronk was the T1000. instead of bowling you over, this guy can outrun you. They're giving Darren Waller as a NFL comparison. Waller's not as fast as Pitts is.
No, I was going to say his speed is not as
he's
fast
not as explosive.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't like about the pick. Hold on, let me bring Tone back in. So, Tone, what I was saying was they're giving Darren Waller as a comparison in the NFL currently for Kyle Pitts. Here's what I don't like about Pitts is that you have an aging quarterback that you need to have a running game for, and you bring in a tight end who can't block.
Yeah, I mean,
so unless you split him out wide, you have now weakened your offensive line in front of your 37-year-old quarterback. I would play, if it was me, I would play him in the slot, a la Travis Kelce a lot. Even your boy Gronk. I just compared these two. Gronk would be Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Terminator, and Kyle Pitts would be Robert Patrick as the T-1000. Just a little bit more ahead athletically. Gronk is just a bull in a china shop. Pitts can play wide receiver.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, too, with Atlanta, they're definitely going to draft a running back, right? Because here's your running back room: Mike Davis, Cordero Patterson, and Quadre Olison, and Tony Brooks-James. So that screams they need a running back. So perhaps after this Kyle Pitts, they're going to add another weapon for Matt Ryan in the running game. But this offensive line, to me, they have to address that. They already had Russell Gage, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones. I know they've been shopping Julio Jones a little bit. Kyle Pitts is a fantastic pick, but to me, they could have traded back, got good value later in the first, stockpiled a couple picks and made better of that. Not saying Kyle Pitts won't pay dividends, but they did have Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Russell Gage, and Hayden Hurst, and when all those guys are on the field at the same time, they already do produce dividends in the passing game. They really could have beefed up their running game. They really could have beefed up their offensive line. They failed to do that here, and I'm really happy with this pick as a Buccaneers fan because to me this doesn't help improve the current Atlanta Falcons state as they're in right now. I don't think it fills any holes that they have on their roster. I think they were already solid at the passing game position.
I agree with you. I will say this: your brother just said he would have taken Mac Jones and let him sit a year or two.
Yeah,
I put no in capital letters and an LOL after it, so now your brother's laughing.
I would have traded back and took Mac Jones and a couple picks and got extra later picks.
Yeah, I mean it was one way you could go. Alex, here's one for you. Atlanta picks third in the second round. How's the name Trey Sermon sound?
Definitely help. There's your running game.
What would you go O-line in round 2 for Atlanta?
I mean, I think like Tone said, if you really want to build around this core of offense that you have and kind of keep it together, I think you got to get some protection for Matty Ice because besides that, I don't even know who's the backup in Atlanta. You guys know offhand?
For who? For what position?
For Matty Ice.
Quarterback.
No one right now. They literally only have Matt Ryan on the roster.
Okay, so I think it's as much as nice as it would be to add another piece of offense in terms of a speedy weapon, you got to get some protection.
Yeah, because if he goes down, what up, Big Rican?
Would you take Kyle Trask in round 2?
If I'm Atlanta?
Yes.
No, because you need a running back. Well, if you're building for the future, sure. If they're still trying to win now, which to me, by keeping Matt Ryan and keeping Julio Jones, are implying they want to win now. And by taking Kyle Pitts, they're implying they want to win now because he's not replacing anyone. He's just adding flame to the fire. So that means to me, they're going to take protection or running back instead of a backup quarterback.
So we're talking either the running back is probably going to be the kid from North Carolina.
Yep, he's a beast. Jermichael Hyde or whatever.
Yep, I like him.
Javonte Williams.
Yep. Again, I bring up Trey Sermon being an Ohio State fan, but you can't really knock what the guy did the last 3 weeks of the year. But all right, so Cincinnati's pick is in.
I'll be back.
Over under. All right. So over under here, I'm going to ask you this, Alex. Over under 50% chance Cincinnati just screwed the pooch.
I'm gonna put it right at 50.
If I hear Jamar Chase, I'm going to send Joe Burrow a sympathy card.
Can he pull the same thing that Rodgers is pulling right now? I'm unhappy. I want out.
Not in his second year after an injury. No, listen, I've had my criticism of Burrow too. He landed with Joe Brady in LSU. He was not very good his first year as a starter there. No one remembers that. He was dynamic in his second year with Brady running the offense. Something else people don't remember. Joe Burrow couldn't win the job at Ohio State. Bless you.
I have a feeling they're going to take Chase. It's just, I don't know what it is.
Now, there is something to be said for that. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow had a great rapport at LSU. LSU wide receivers do really good in the NFL, i.e., look at my team with two LSU wide receivers at 1 and 2. I get it, but now we need to talk about protecting the asset.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're getting a guy back this year who had his knee entirely reconstructed.
Now, here's the other thing too. I don't think a lot of line is going to go in round 1. I think this is going to be a big defense. When we did our draft with Frank, how many offensive linemen? I took Penny Sewell for Cincinnati. Did we get to 25 before we did another one?
Yeah,
you took the kid from Alabama.
Yeah, Leatherwood, I want to say.
Alex Leatherwood, yep.
Yeah.
You took the kid from, wow, the Terminal Tower looks nice. There's the KeyBank building. So where they're doing the shot from right now, if you look straight down from the KeyBank building, that's the Amtrak station where I come in when I see my parents.
Okay.
Behind the Amtrak station in a 3-block area, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Great Lakes Science Center, which houses all of John Glenn's Gemini capsules and everything, and First Energy Stadium.
Okay.
There's a lot to do in Cleveland. People
Pretty
think
cool. It's all close together. It's
right there. When we went out for the Mets Indian series in 26, that was 5 years ago already. Ooh. My wife and mother-in-law went to the Rock Hall and the Science Center, and literally I dropped them off in front of the Rock Hall, and I picked them up in front of the Science Center the end of the day. That's how much there is to do down there. So we're at 50-50, and that white guy's dancing. Look at him. Okay.
I got news for you. I already seen who it is.
It's Jamar Chase, isn't it? Stop it. They are stupid. You have got to be kidding me. Uh-oh. Ohio State put out a video. Your number 1 overall pick, ladies and gentlemen, of the pick he threw in the end zone. Hold on, here we go.
NFL draft. The Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Chase.
Joe Burrow's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cincinnati Bengals have set back their entire franchise. Look at this Don Johnson wannabe. Sorry. They have set back their entire franchise another 5 to 10 years.
Oh, boy.
I can't wait till Tone sits down, because I hope he heard what I just said. I could go all night on how this is the worst pick they could have made. I really could. If you only had to watch the team that played 5 hours north, what they did after Baker spent a year running away, they built the offensive line, and the Browns were a horrible call away from playing for the AFC Championship.
All it takes is for you to say, hey, let's protect that guy. He just got hurt. But
it's Cincinnati. So the stupid is strong. Hold on here. Tones is back.
What the hell was that? They could have protected Joe Burrow, and they didn't. They elected not to protect their franchise quarterback.
Did you hear what I said?
Yep.
Well, did you hear the Don Johnson wannabe line?
Yeah, that cracked me up, because not that it could pay off, but if Burrow gets hurt again, and next thing you know, they're going to need to draft another quarterback. I mean, he got one. This was almost a career-ending injury. If you're an older player, this ends your career. He's fortunate it did not. They could have protected him with the once-in-a-lifetime generational offensive line talent. Instead, they went on a receiver that could pay off big time, don't get me wrong, but We know how modern day first round wide receivers could tend to be in the NFL, and that's diva-esque. We'll see what happens. To me, Penny Sewell was hands down the obvious choice here, and to me, they blew one.
So let's go here with this then. Now we go to 6, 7, and 8. Miami, Detroit, and Carolina, who all three teams technically have their quarterbacks. If I'm Miami with Captain Fragile under center, Penny Sewell, you got it. You cannot not draft Penny Sewell if you're the Miami Dolphins right now. And the pick is in. I bet you they were salivating.
Hold up.
Go.
I mean,
I'm just putting the screen up. So now you protect Tua, am I right?
100%. If
It's
he's
too
your
hot.
guy, protect him.
Dude, I'm heated. I'm sweating. I'm so angry about this pick. It's not even my team. I'm pissed.
I mean, I just feel for the fan base, and
It's because I like Burrow.
no, I'm a fan of his too. I'm a fan of his as well.
Think about it after this year, what the AFC North is going to look like quarterback-wise. If he survives, Joe Burrow, Lamar, if what I said to you during last week's Back on the Saddle show, Dwayne Haskins, Baker Mayfield, you are talking about 4 dudes who can ball out in the right situation. But again, so let's go to the positives of this move, because there are positives. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow had a phenomenal report at LSU. LSU puts out good wide receivers. He's got great separation speed. But here's where you run into the other problem. All 3 teams in the division have lockdown corners.
Right.
And now the Browns secondary is actually able to stop people with the adding of Josh Johnson and Hill. I believe they're going to draft a linebacker or a defensive back tonight. I mean, I cannot believe they blew this.
I mean, we know that Cincinnati has offensive weapons, but
the Dolphins, like I said, the Dolphins pick is in. That's the fastest I've seen a pick in for Miami in years.
I mean, they were just waiting for Cincinnati to screw it up.
It's going fast, but I'm off in 58 minutes. I'm not. The Browns are. Zach just said this is going fast. The Browns are picking till 26. I'm not going to be awake. I need to sleep. My phone will blow up, but I need to sleep. All right, so let's do this then. Let's jump to another question I have for you. So let's say Miami takes Penny Sewell. We know the move Detroit made in the offseason. I believe you went defense for them in our mock draft, right?
Detroit?
Yeah. Hang on one second.
No,
Can you go on the table and grab my blue notebook? It's got our stuff from the draft in it.
No, I went off.
Oh, you went offense.
I took Smith from Bama.
Oh, you took Devontae Smith. That's right.
Because I felt that Chase was going to go early, and as we see, it happened. And I think he's the second best receiver aside from Chase.
Yeah, because we had Chase going to Miami, and Smith going to Detroit, and we had I had Mac Jones going to Carolina when I did the pick for Tones. So let's stay on this then. If we're right, Penny Sewell's going to Miami. Devontae Smith will probably go to Detroit. We had Mac Jones going to Carolina, and I said I was going to do something like the world on fire, but now Carolina has their quarterback.
Right.
If this isn't Penny Sewell and it's Devontae Smith,
I don't know what to say.
Miami's offensive line isn't bad, but Penny Sewell's better than who they have playing left tackle.
But why not bolster why not even protect it even more with an extremely talented player?
I would too. I learned the hard way watching the Browns that if you don't protect your quarterback and you run, look what Kansas City just did.
I think they're invested in their quarterback
for $500 million.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle.
Wow. Wow. Our line's not valuable anymore? Do we just throw it up and hope your receiver catches it? Is that what we're going to do now?
You guys seem angry. Why is that?
I got nothing.
No,
It's, if he's a bad player,
It's not that he's a bad player, Zach. It's that Miami has a quarterback who has injury issues, and the offensive line protects the quarterback. Oh, yeah, Mac Jones.
Oh, wait. So instead of getting
Mac Jones is going to New England. I can feel it.
of getting a new quarterback,
Instead of getting a better line to protect their quarterback, they went out and got a wide receiver who played on one leg and roasted Ohio State.
at this point, can Sewell drop to 20? That would be great.
The floor just fell out from underneath the poor guy. I see this run ending soon. It makes a little bit of sense, I guess. Teams taking double bubbles with their quarterbacks and receivers from college. I'm shocked Waddle went over the Heisman winner, but I think Detroit would be a good pairing. They lost Kenny Galladay, and Jared Goff needs a little weapon there. I could see that.
Jared Goff needs a lot more than a little weapon.
Penny Sewell will be interesting to see where he falls. I mean, the Giants they can never stockpile too many O-linemen either, but it's interesting. Mac Jones maybe to New England now.
The Lions pick is in. If this is Devontae Smith, Carolina will have the pick in 2 seconds because they will take Penny Sewell.
It has to be Devontae Smith.
It's 100%.
If you don't remember, Carolina already exercised Sam Darnold's 5th-year option.
Yep. They don't want a QB. They got their young one now.
Exactly. So for anybody who's watching and wondering why Tones is going back and forth, there's no TV in his broadcast room. I'm sitting in my living room with my TV in front of me. Alex is streaming it on his phone. So Tones is going back and forth. So we're having a lot of fun when he gets back here. Alex, I have
fingers crossed at 20 at this point because we got a chance. There's a chance.
If he's going to Carolina.
I know.
He's going to Carolina. I don't know if Joey's watching this, Tone's brother. Joey, the world's falling apart, dude. I don't know what to do here. A 5'9.5", 180-pound wide receiver just went ahead of the biggest offensive lineman in the draft. Man, thank God I don't have any hair on my head anymore.
Well, I guess we wanted shock in this draft, and we're getting it.
Yeah, but I wanted shock because guys had a choice between good players at certain spots, not just losing their minds. Now, don't get me wrong. Waddle is a good play. He's a good wide receiver. When he's healthy, my daughter just goes, bro, what the hell? When he's healthy, he's dynamic. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you're not doing that to NFL corners.
Nope.
And you're not getting arm tackled on special teams. You're getting roasted.
I'm at a loss for words here. I'm just kind of letting it play out and see exactly what happens because apparently my mock draft, I could just rip it up and shred it at this point.
My mock draft now looks like my NCAA bracket.
Basically.
Toilet paper. Oh, this is killing me. Almost as much as I was screaming last night. How do you come off complete game 15 strikeouts? You go 6 innings and get 9 against the best offensive team in baseball right now, and your team can't score you a run against Nick Pivetta and a bunch of washouts.
I was actually gonna ask you when you were gonna go in because I was waiting for it. We're an hour and change in, and
well, listen, dude, the stupid is all over the place. So let's get into the real stupid now. Do these players not realize he has an opt-out after this year? He's going to win his 3rd Cy Young and tell him to go somewhere. That dude has an engine for a hat.
I seen his first pitch yesterday, 101.
Oh, no. The Nationals game I told you about?
Uh-huh.
He hit a buck in the 8th inning.
Well, I'm just talking about yesterday against Boston, 101 on the first pitch.
Does he even look like he's trying?
No.
It's
No.
easy guess. Oh, and by the way, according to Hefner, the pitching coach, he has a plus curveball too. He just doesn't throw it.
He doesn't need to.
Well, when you throw your fastball at 101, your slider at 94, and your changeup at 91,
It's not essential.
yeah, but he's got an arsenal where he's going to be this good for a while.
Oh,
he's got an arsenal to do it. You know who else has an arsenal to do it? Giolito. Good Lord. He doesn't throw as hard, but he's got good stuff.
He does have good stuff. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, right now they're figuring it out, putting the pieces to the puzzle together, but they got a chance, with their rotation looking decent right now, 1 through 5. I got no complaints. I mean, we're not wrecking balls on offense just yet, but it is what it is.
So Chris Rose from MLB. Hold on, let's get the pick first.
With the 7th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell goes to Detroit. How did the Detroit Lions just make the smartest move of the night?
Bravo, because they've not made good decisions in the past. So bravo to them.
Absolutely. No, listen, this guy, he's a beast, and those big Hawaiian offensive linemen always play well. I'm waiting for Tones to pop back in. This is a big move. You go out and you trade your aging franchise quarterback, who was everything you expected him to be. You get a younger franchise quarterback in Jared Goff. You're going to be able to get weapons in the next round. You're going to be able to get weapons maybe in some trades or free agency going down the line. But this guy is a huge upgrade on the offensive line for Detroit. I love this move. Tone?
Our guys there.
Hold on. Tone, how is it that the Detroit Lions just made the smartest pick in the last 5?
They have the new Matt Campbell, who's chomping at your kneecaps. He's going to hit you when you're down, and he's going to make the right draft picks, I guess, as their head coach. It's incredible to see the Lions actually making moves. I think Jared Goff could be decent over there with a little bit of protection, so we'll see what happens. The loss of Kenny Golladay hurts, but this is a decent draft class to get wide receivers late. There's a couple good ones later in the draft as well that they could always scoop up. So we'll see how Detroit fares. I think Penei Sewell is a great pick here and great protection for teams like the Bears and the Packers and the Vikings, who all have good pass rushes. You're going to need a guy like Penei Sewell out there protecting Goff.
Did you see who's in the Detroit Lions war room? That's John Dorsey, the former GM of the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wow. Then
who helped build this Browns team into what it is, who drafted Myles Garrett, who drafted Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward, just drafted Penei Sewell for the Lions.
He could be the new guy who takes the team to the next level. If Detroit does end up making it, he's 2 for 2 in franchise rebuilds and 2.
Oh, he's the one who drafted Patrick Mahomes too.
So he's on a roll. I mean, the guy's on an absolute roll. And, I mean, we have to wait to see how Penei Sewell does pan out, I guess, in theory. But this is one – when Devin White got drafted, everybody said this is a great pick. When Penei Sewell's getting drafted, everyone's saying this is a great pick. Sometimes people just know. I find it hard to believe that he's not going to be a successful offensive lineman in the National Football League. And, I think it's a great pick for Detroit, who's in a defense-happy division nowadays, especially Minnesota and Chicago, and the Packers have a good pass rush as well.
So, Tone, I got to give a shout-out to our boy Alex here, who is double-dipping right now as he is also live-tweeting his reaction to every pick on top of being with you and I got to give it to him.
You're doing it, bro. This is why I love Rose 7. This is why I love Big Rican. This is why I love all our podcasts. We just find ways to make it happen. We're independent media who go above and beyond. Look, we're doing a draft show. We got a guy live tweeting the draft. We're just running around and making sure the people get the content they deserve. And we all put out weekly shows. My brother puts out a weekly show as well. We're all independent media covering a variety of sports, and we do a hell of a job. So salute to people like us. Everyone else doing live streams out there tonight. I know the Loose Cannons is for the Buccaneers. I know there's a handful of other sports teams getting podcasts as well. So hats off to every independent podcast doing their thing tonight.
So I'm flipping through Twitter talking about Alex, and I see that Dan Labby, I don't know who he is, but he's got a picture of Joel Klatt on the NFL Network set, and there's a sign behind him that says "Free Josh Gordon." The caption on the picture is "Never change, Cleveland."
Penny Sewell, his wiki is already Lions colors, by the way, and he is also the former nephew of Isaac Sopoaga. I remember him. He was a big D lineman back in the day. I believe he played for the 49ers for the majority of his career, but Penny Sewell is the nephew of Isaac Sopoaga. He was a big boy, and Richard Brown. Richard Brown wasn't as notable, but he was a Cleveland Brown, so there you go. Penny Sewell's got NFL in his blood. I think he's ready to take it to the next level for sure. In Oregon, he did opt out of 2020, but in 2019, he showed himself out, and in 2018, he was an immediate starter as a freshman. So I think he's going to translate all his success and keep his NFL relatives proud.
I think you will too. So, Alex, I want to throw this to you now. Carolina's pick is in at number 8. They, of course, exercised Sam Darnold's fifth-year option. I would think Devontae Smith would go here. How about McShay had Justin Fields at 9 to Denver?
I can absolutely see it happening.
I think Justin Fields would go there to lose a career.
You think so? Really? Huh.
My buddy Nick, who we were just talking about, he actually just texted me that he's kind of shocked Devontae Smith is still there. Because he just said to me, I think McShake's perfect so far, and he has Jones falling to New England at 15 and Fields going to Denver. If Mac Jones falls to 15, I can guarantee you Aaron Rodgers may be forced to retire.
It's a cornerback.
Are you serious?
Listen to it.
Can we take Asante Samuel?
With the 8th pick in the 2021
Listen.
NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select J.C. Horn, defensive back.
I told you.
J.C. Horn goes 8 overall to the Carolina Panthers. The Denver Broncos are on the clock. Here's something interesting. I don't even know what to say. And by the way, Curtis Samuel's in Washington.
Yeah.
So now you brought in a defensive back, which you needed. I get it. McCaffrey's been hurt. You just acquire Sam Darnold. Your most productive wide receiver in your offense is now in Washington with his boy Terry McLaurin. Tone, you're the NFC South guy.
I just win my bet, by the way. I just win my bet. I had J.C. Horn as a first defensive back drafted in this year's draft. I took it a month ago, and the odds are pretty good. And I think it was 5-1 odds on 5-1 odds on a $20 guy, so about $100. That's not bad.
You, man.
When my account was at zeros, so that's a lifesaver right there. And I, not going to put money into football season, but hey, now I got money to play with. I'm not going to lie, I think this is a great pick for Carolina. Their defense needed it. Matt Rule's been retooling the offense a lot. Last year they did draft Derek Brown in round 1, defensive tackle from Auburn. Didn't really produce like they thought last year, but now you could tell they keep stockpiling young defenders. And this is another guy. And we got a lot more. We got Surtain, and we have Asante Samuel's kid in this draft too. We're seeing our generation's superstars kids get drafted right before our eyes. And this is Joe Horn's son. Joe Horn, longtime wide receiver for New Orleans Saints, a very good one at that. I don't know how he's going to be feeling putting on the rival of Carolina gear for his kid, but he's going to have to get used to it. I think it's a really good pick for the Panthers.
I agree. I thought they should have gone weapon for Sam Darnold personally, especially
with losing Samuel now to Washington. Yeah, I could see that.
On top of that, McCaffrey's injury history the last couple of years.
And they lost Mike Davis too.
Exactly. So, yes, they needed help on the defensive side of the ball, especially in a division with the Super Bowl champion. You don't know what New Orleans is going to be, and now you have Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. So I get it. I would not have made this pick here. I would have to have gone a weapon. The Heisman Trophy winner sitting there. If Fields goes 9, does Jerry Jones take Devontae Smith and put him in that wide receiver room?
You can't. You can't. There's too many wide receivers there already.
But it's Jerry Jones.
He's senile, but he's not that senile. Well, I mean, I hope he's not that senile because he's got Gallup, he's got CeeDee Lamb, he's got, that Amari Cooper guy. I mean, how many wide receivers do you need on your team? I mean, at that point, they had a little quarterback health problem last year. Hello, do you think an offensive lineman would maybe scream out at you when you have Dak Prescott go down? You have Andy Dalton go down with an injury. You had Ben DiNucci get battered around like a battery ram out there. You had a lot of quarterbacks in Dallas go down last year. We'll see what happens, but I think that they don't need a wide receiver too bad. I think they should focus on protection or defense.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm merely making the point that we've seen Jerry do some things that make you scratch your head and or rip out your hair. Could he be Gruden level stupid?
He could be. I mean, he very well could be, but I don't think so tonight.
Especially now that he paid Prescott, it could happen.
Yeah,
he's not going to pay somebody.
He needs to protect Dak, though. He needs to protect his investment.
Agreed. I am with you 100%, but it is Jerry.
It is Jerry, and it's Jerry's world over in Dallas still at the end of the day, and that's a scary thought for their franchise.
My buddy Nick, who chimed in via text message, he says Devontae Smith's going to be a steal. It's not that I disagree. And to answer his question quick on live, he said the Giants can't pass on him. Devontae Smith looked good in Big Blue.
Someone's going to trade up for Fields, man. He's like a minnow getting weight.
He's going Denver.
Is the pick in?
No, it's not.
Benjamin Albright said Broncos are looking to trade back. Benjamin Albright, Denver beat writer, has just tweeted that the Denver Broncos are attempted to trade back at this very minute.
Well, who do you think they go up and get? Or who do you think goes up to get somebody?
I think someone's going here to get Justin Fields. I think someone's trying to make a move right now to get Justin Fields. Who might that be? There's a couple teams that need a quarterback out there, but the Broncos, if they do settle here, what's up, Alex? Yeah, the Bears, they could trade up for sure. I think a Kyle Trask would be fitting for the Bears, though. I think that would be a fitting pick for the Bears. But if Denver does stick with this pick here, I wouldn't be surprised if they go with the Heisman winner.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Fields is going here. I really do.
I think the Broncos are trading back.
Well, then it just depends on who goes there.
Bears trade up. I think Bears, or my brother's saying something about maybe he's guessing the Bears, my brother. I don't know what's happening. He's guessing Fields to the Bears, my brother. I don't know
I'm
if
checking
that
my
happened.
phone right now. Sorry,
Would you be happy, Alex, if Fields fell to the Bears, or if they traded up and took Fields at some point? Would you be happy?
I mean, it would be a step in the right direction in terms of finding, hopefully, a franchise quarterback. I guess I would rather do that than mortgage the franchise to try and, do what they were talking about earlier and trade for Russ, and giving up years and years of picks. So I would rather see this than losing out for the next 3 to 5 years.
So yeah, two more funny things. Oh, the pick is in. The Broncos didn't trade it. Two more funny things I've seen from the draft in Cleveland. There is a sign that says if the Nets sign Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be pissed. And there is also a sign that says Big Ben for jail. God, they hate him in that town. All right, so Denver did not trade out. Denver did not trade out. Is the Drew Lock era in Denver over, Alex?
It already is.
It's been over.
Well, yeah, but do they get his replacement now?
I mean, I would, but I mean, you're saying it's a death sentence for him going to Denver. I don't know that that's the case, but
I hope not. Oh, come on, take a defensive player. Look at this dude.
Come on. Let's see what we got.
With the ninth pick in the 2021 NFL Draft,
the Denver Broncos select Patrick Surtain.
Defense? Really? I mean, it's a smart move. It's because he's a stud, but
sheesh, someone got a crush.
That's what they call a good player.
A stud?
Yes, a stud.
Yeah, well, I'm a science type guy. I think you're a stud. It's a horse.
The kids got me laughing.
I hear him in the back. I'm happily married, my friend, to a lovely lady. So
hey, that can be a cover up.
Why, yes. So, Tone, I will ask you a question that I've posed to Alex many times already this evening.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. 6 words. What the hell is going on?
6 words, huh? That's a lot of conundrum, a lot of bullshit. No, I think the first couple picks went pretty much as expected, and then we had a couple wide receivers, couple defensive backs, and O-linemen in between. We're getting a lot of, we're getting a lot of diversity here in terms of positions. And I think we're going to see a continuance of that. We knew edge rushers was a little weak coming in. We knew that there were more back-end linemen than front-end O-linemen in this draft. Not many powerhouse interior D-linemen as well, but we had all the juniors at D-backs, which gave them endorsements, and we're starting to see that with Surtain gone now. And maybe Samuel will be gone in the first round at some point as well. But it's really interesting to see what's going on. I did not expect the defensive back to get taken by Denver. I think they could have done better with that pick or made better use of that choice. But we'll see what happens. I think they could have used a weapon for the offensive side of the ball for either Teddy B or Drew Lock. I don't know. I'm a little confused on that pick there, but if it pays dividends, I mean, Vic Fangio is a defensive head coach. He thinks with the defensive mind. You got to expect the defensive coach to take a defensive guy.
I agree. Now, here's an interesting one that my buddy Nick just brought up. Micah Parsons to Dallas. Especially with Swan Lee retiring.
He sat out last year.
Well, no, he hung him up.
No, Parsons.
No, I know. That's one of the reasons I think Ohio State beat them as bad as they did. But so if they go defense here, I think the Giants are going to go offense. Is Justin Fields going to Philadelphia?
He keeps falling at this point, and they didn't commit to Jalen. They didn't commit to Jalen Hurts this offseason either. So I think that they are definitely at least in the market for a quarterback. If you're not committing to Jalen Hurts, that means you're opening the door, and that means a lot of things could happen. I mean, at this point, any team like Justin Fields is being screamed to get taken. If you don't have a young quarterback, it does not hurt taking this guy, having him learn behind your veteran and come in as a plug and play eventually. This guy's going to be a steal in this year's draft. I mean, people might be kicking themselves years down the road realizing they took Sam Darnold 2.0, aka Zach Wilson. He could be very good. And then they took Trey Lance, who I like a lot, but he's like a coin right now. You could flip him and he could go either way. So I think that people could be kicking themselves in a couple of months or a couple of years down the road that they didn't end up with Justin Fields when they had every opportunity to.
No, I agree with you.
Really quickly, Shefty said that Dallas is likely to trade out of the number 10 pick.
Wow. Quarterback incoming?
Dallas traded the pick.
Oh, shit.
To Philly.
Whoa. Is it Fields?
That's going to be Fields.
It's Fields. No way.
I'm going to Twitter right now. Wow. Twitter is roasting the Bengals still, by the way.
Oh, I could imagine. I think at this point it's going to be Fields.
I think it is too. And I think with all the movement in the top and the guys not going, you could see a Wosu Kimura in a Browns jersey.
Or do you think it's a chance it's Devonta?
Dude, Jerry Jones' trophy wife is the only person in the draft room. This is his Belichick letting the dog pick last year.
He makes the calls himself. Nobody else has a say.
Oh, man. Philly did not give up the 12.
Whoa.
Philly's picking at 10 and 12? Oh, no, it just changed. On the ticker on the bottom left, says Philly, Giants, Philly. They just changed it.
I was going to say, 'cause if that's the case, Cowboys just got assaulted.
And not in a good way.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the day. I'm tired. So, all right, Now, my buddy thinks the Eagles traded up for Devontae Smith.
I was just going to say that because of the Hurts connection.
I don't think he played much with Jalen Hurts. Remember, Jalen Hurts was there a couple years ago when Devontae Smith wasn't playing really. Transferred to Oklahoma when Devontae Smith started playing, and then this year, of course, Smith wins the Heisman. He'd be stunned if it's Fields. We started the night talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Is Justin Fields being set up to be the next Aaron Rodgers? To have such a high draft number coming in and to fall.
I mean, if it writes out that way in terms of a Cinderella story, way to prove him wrong.
I would love for that. Here's an interesting one. Your boys are at 20. I can see them doing something with that.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid it's this far down. Is New Orleans going to take a quarterback?
It's extremely likely. I mean, they need one.
Here
we go.
Pick is in.
Let's see it.
Oh yeah, the Eagles just basically did. As soon as the commissioner's on the screen, I will. All right, so let's talk about the Giants real quick before we dive into. We get the Philly pick and we react to it. Your boy Slater from Northwestern still there.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Dimes, and then coming back from injury, Saquon Barkley makes a lot of sense.
That would be big.
I cannot believe we are here and Justin Fields has not been picked yet.
Or Smith, for that matter.
Yeah, but Smith, I didn't think. No one's going to draft a first-round slot receiver. And that's what he is. He's a slot receiver. He's a motion guy. The one college football analyst I trust that's not named Kirk Herbstreit is Joel Klatt. And give me just a second here. You're good. And he's even wearing his "You're Killing Me" small shirt. So the pick is in with the Eagles. The Giants are on the clock. The commissioner has not come out yet. Let's see what they're going to do here. Here comes Roger, so let's turn the sound on.
Here it is. I know who it is.
The Eagle fan is getting out of the honorary chair. Roger Goodell getting set to announce the pick. The Giants are
Lady, put your mask on.
Oh, come on.
the NFC East, and we'll have to find out who it is. The Eagles wanting to move up again tonight. If not Roger Goodell, the 10th pick.
It's Devontae Smith, isn't it?
The Dallas Cowboys have traded the 10th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 10th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Devontae Smith.
So the Heisman Trophy winner's off the board. The third Alabama player to go in the first round. What is he wearing?
So what's that now? We're at 3 wide receivers taken in the first round now, right?
Yep. And we're about to see 4. I think the Giants, if they don't go offensive line, have to go wide out. I love when he comes back.
I do too, man. It feels like home. But interesting pick there. I mean, they just took one in the first round last year with Jalen Reagor. So back-to-back years, they took Reagor out of TCU with the 21st pick last year in the first round. And now they trade up and take a wide receiver in the first round this year. So they're really stockpiling wide receivers in the first round.
Yeah, they are. The problem is they're still not playing well. And Hurts had a good year coming in, but there's tape on him now. So let's see what happens moving forward. So let's dive into 2 things real quick. One, Devontae Smith. I was saying to Alex, Joel Klatt said Devontae Smith is I don't think you draft a slot receiver in the first round, but I think he's a slot receiver, a motion guy that you have to have in motion, because if you watch, he never played on the outside that much. This is 2 years ago with Tua. Sark had him in constant motion. Trust me, I watched him run all over Ohio State in the national championship game. But they're comparing him here to Calvin Ridley, and you'd know better than I would because I don't watch the Falcons at all. Is that an apt comparison, or do you see somebody else?
I don't. Go ahead, Alex.
According to Shefty, Chicago's trading up from 20 to the Giants.
No way. Chicago trades up. Chicago trades up to the Giants. Sorry, I had to yell it.
So I'm going to do my Roger Goodell impression and see what you boys think. With the 11th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Bingo.
They're gonna select Mac Jones.
No,
oh my God.
Tone,
I will explode.
We're going to lose our baseball buddy, and don't do that to us.
They're gonna take Mac Jones.
You know what? You're probably right now that you say that. You're probably right.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
Oh my God.
What's this, 11 we're on?
Yeah.
No, with their offensive line, they've got to take Justin Fields.
No, they're gonna find another tight end, like I told you earlier. They want to be.
Jeremy
They want to
Rucker's
be.
not coming back.
Is that not Dave Gettleman though? Another trade.
Well, listen, Gettleman. You know what? My mother-in-law is a big Giant fan. I feel for her with that dude, and I'm a Browns fan.
Okay.
All right, so even my buddy Nick thinks
Giants return from Chicago is next year's 1, 5 this year, and 4 next year.
Yep. So I hope your buddy is right. Please tell him to keep his fingers crossed or whatever he needs to do to make this happen because.
Well, he thinks it's a death knell for Fields. So
someone tweeted Bears straight up giving Dalton the Mike Glennon treatment.
Yeah, but Dalton's better than Mike Glennon.
So terms, Giants trade pick number 11 to Chicago for number 22, 164 future, first, and a fourth. That is a haul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's worth that haul.
2 first-round picks, but if you get your quarterback, it's worth it.
That's true.
If they pick the right quarterback.
That's a haul, man.
Did you hear him telling us that? I know he's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong at all.
That's Fields' living room. There's nobody there.
I mean, if it's not a quarterback, I'm closing my laptop and I'm going to go into hibernation.
They all went outside to smoke.
They did not go outside to smoke.
You can't tell me that.
The dude's got epilepsy. He can't do that. So listen, Fields' entire family just came back in the room. I wonder if they got the call from the Bears already. The Bears pick is in, Alex. Alex, I'm going to say it like Pat McAfee did to the guy playing Mel Kiper last year. Embrace the future of the Chicago Bears.
I'm over here shaking.
I just asked him to save me the Tostitos with the hint of lime on them. Really good.
Taking this pick. This is his evaluation. He evaluated the quarterback class that had Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
Just got it. Just got the alert. Who it is?
You don't look happy.
No. They got the right guy. At least I would like to think they got the right guy.
Well, this is also the same team that evaluated the Mahomes draft class.
You had to go there again, didn't you?
No, yeah, but listen, I did that to bust your chops. No one knew he would be this. No one knew this.
I changed my mind. I think it's Fields. That family room scene said it all.
Yeah, well, the pick is in.
I was partly kidding by the Mac Jones thing. I just felt like that's the Bears' MO, by the way. That's why I said Kyle Trask at 20 to begin with.
All the Bears fans are doing the OHIO.
Yeah, they have to be. I mean, if you trade up this much, it has to be for Justin Fields, right?
Yeah,
hold on.
100%.
They're doing something first. I don't know who this dude is.
How late you going for, Mike?
Another 20 minutes or so.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we got to be up early. We got appointments. Got to get Mama over to the little guy tomorrow. Oh, thanks for the like on his 7-line onesie pick there, Tom.
Absolutely.
He's got the one that says down since 2021. He's got 2 of those, just so he gets bigger. But still, I can't wait till football season. We got the Daddy's Little Ohio State fan one in today. I still have I have a Michigan in my diaper.
I like that one a lot. The Michigan in my diaper one is beautiful.
So let's Billy Granado, who is a Bears fan. Yes, I won't say with the second one you said on there, but it's a line Robert Downey Jr. said in Weird Science. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
When he was screaming. Who is that doing the selection?
I can't see.
Yeah, I can't. I lost my feed, so.
Exciting is this. With
The 11th pick.
in the 2021 NFL Draft, my Chicago Bears select
Justin Fields, Ohio State.
Wow, there you go, Alex.
Excuse me for a second.
So if you just heard, if you're watching live, Justin Fields, the dual threat, phenomenally talented quarterback from Ohio State, has now been drafted by the Chicago Bears. So Alex stepped away so he can jump for joy and not take away from the broadcast. Tone, of course, went to watch the television with his family in Chicago. Listen, I can tell Bears fans who are watching this now, Billy Granado, if you're watching, you are getting a stud at quarterback. They talked about he couldn't go past his first read, yet he had a 90% quarterback rating after his first read. This is the guy who owned Clemson to the point that he had as many incompletions, 6, as he did touchdown passes in that game, 6. He led Ohio State to back-to-back Big Ten championships, beating a come-from-behind win against Wisconsin, and then a come-from-behind win against Northwestern. He is responsible for getting Ohio State and the Big Ten to play through the pandemic. He played through a near debilitating injury in the Sugar Bowl. Listen, and as far as the national championship game goes, if you'd have told me he would have been without 2 of their top defensive linemen and his running back who had gone for a record near 500 yards in 2 games, I would have told you Alabama would have ran all over him. This is a huge pick for the Chicago Bears. My friend, this is how I felt when he read Baker's name. This faith, this excitement, but Andy Dalton should start this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you right there, but at least there's hope in some type of positive outlook for the future. They've got it wrong year after year, and this year, I want to go grab my Bears gear and grab it like from the room where it's singed in right now. So,
well, I'll tell you what, you need to get a Justin Fields jersey.
I probably will.
And I'll tell you what, and I know you watched a little bit of him watching Northwestern and just being from the area. I really don't think you guys understand what you're getting with this guy. I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but I went into some of it. They were talking about he can't go past his first read, but he had the highest QBR in college football past his first read. Higher than Trevor Lawrence, higher than Zach Wilson, higher than Trey Lance, higher than Mac Jones. He is dynamic. He's versatile. So your offensive line shortcomings won't be as highlighted as if a Mac Jones or an Andy Dalton were there, so you can still build. You did give up a bunch.
Right. That's the thing. That's
but
you're 100% right.
If you give up a bunch and you get your quarterback, that's a different animal. I think Fields is going to be a good pro. He's got a very high ceiling, but he needs to be in the right situation. Now, this is where I wanted to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
With drafting the young quarterback, with Matt Nagy failing already with a young quarterback, does this tell you there is going to be a regime change in Chicago as well?
I think after doing this, they're probably going to at least get another year or 2 for sure. And then at that point, when maybe Fields is ready to go, that's when the regime will change.
I think they need to bring in a different offensive coordinator. Matt Nagy needs to not call plays.
I mean, I've said that from the jump, honestly, but
tell you what I do. I don't think he'd take it, but I'd start throwing a truckload of money at Ryan Day. Not to be the head coach.
No, you're right.
To be the offensive coordinator.
But do you think he would leave Ohio State? I didn't think so.
State.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's not leaving Ohio State. And here's why he's not leaving Ohio State. His family has gotten used to it. His kids play ball in Columbus. His one son doesn't play football, believe it or not. His son plays basketball.
Huh.
I didn't know this, but Day was a point guard in college. He played 2 sports. He played basketball and football.
Interesting. Give me 1 second here.
You're good.
Inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. It subsided, so I have to assume it's about Dylan. But yeah, no.
So I'm watching just a quick Twitter clip of I guess they made the announcement at the Sox game, and fans were going wild in the seats knowing that they got Fields.
They should be. Hang on a second. Where's your new ones?
I gave them to you.
Check the table. Who's this dude?
But I don't mean to cut you off, my friend, but I think I'm gonna sign off for the night. I think that I can sleep well tonight. Got a long day ahead of me tomorrow, so
Same here. Listen, real quick, just tell everybody again, row 7 where you're at. But before you do that, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it. As always, we're going to get a reaction show, and I'm actually talking to the guy who got me into StreamYard to how to do it without having to go live, although tonight was going to be live to begin with. But again, just tell everybody where row 7 is, and I'll get you the Cowboys pick, and we'll get you out of here.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Mike. I really appreciate it. I know you. I know I told you that my schedule was kind of jumbled a little bit this week, but I found a way to make some time and talk some football and a little bit of baseball with you. You can check out Row 7 Podcast on Twitter at Row 7 Podcast, my Instagram at Row 7 Podcast as well. Just dropped a new episode yesterday with my brother. Find it on Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, Apple, Google, Pandora, iHeart, you name it, it's available. Thank you again, Mike. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hold that thought.
Let's go.
This lady's crazy. I like her.
I see who it is.
It's Micah Parsons. Great pick. They just replaced Sean Lee. Alex, thank you again. Enjoy, and I'll be in touch about when we're going to do the reaction show.
Sounds good, man. Tell Tones I said what's up, or I'll see him, and we'll definitely be in touch too.
Sounds good, boss. We'll see you.
All right, take care.
All right. So there you have it. Alex from row 7. Again, thank you so much. You guys all heard where he can get his show. Goes off on a big note. I mean, we did see that Micah Parsons went to the Dallas Cowboys, but the big note is that the Chicago Bears have finally done something right and selected Justin Fields to be their new quarterback. So Alex had to sign off. He's got a big day tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I'm about 8 to 10 minutes away from signing off myself. But let's get into the Dallas Cowboys replacing Sean Lee with Micah Parsons.
I think he's good. I think this kid's going to bring a lot to the table. He'll be fresh, obviously, a little bit different dynamic than Sean Lee. I think that Penn State, obviously, linebacker university, some might say. And your friend actually called us, it seems, when we were talking about this a little bit ago. I think your friend said that Micah Parsons was going to end up with the Cowboys. I could be mistaken. Didn't he say that, though?
He did. He thought it was going to be Micah Parsons.
He was consensus All-American in 2019, first team All-Big Ten in 2019, Cotton Bowl MVP in 2019, Buckus Fitzgerald linebacker of the year in 2019, USA Today High School All-US 2017, American Family Insurance Defensive Player of the Year 2017, first team All-Freshman American 2018. This kid's got what it takes, and he was a unit. He recorded 109 tackles, 5 sacks, 3 deflected passes, and 3 forced fumbles in 2019. Just amazing. And in the Cotton Bowl that year, he had 14 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles before he opted out in 2020 due to COVID. He's going to be a huge impact for this Cowboys defense that got railroaded and ran over every Sunday or Monday last year.
Oh, no, I agree. And what I can chime in from watching him his first 2 years in school with Ohio State, playing against Penn State each year, not only is he a good run stuffer, he's actually halfway decent in coverage. I think his speed sideline to sideline is far underrated. He ran a 4.43 at his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
That's wide receiver speed at the linebacker position. I love this pick, but I think this does something that no one's talking about And I really believe that if they can, that the Cleveland Browns are going to take Owusu Kamara at 26.
You think so?
I hope so.
I think that'd be a good pick.
That kid.
I think that'd be a great pick. I want Jason Oweh to fall to the Bucs at this point, the Penn State edge. He didn't do great last year, but production isn't everything when you got guys like Micah Parsons opting out. He had a weird COVID year last year where the Big Ten took a long time to get going. Not giving excuses, but you've seen Penn State. I've seen Penn State last season. They were not the Nittany Lions that we're used to seeing out there. Something was different there. Something was different.
No, I agree with you. They were not the Nittany Lions, and the Micah Parsons opt-out was a huge reason for that. I will say this about Oweh, the edge rusher. He didn't look 100% to me.
No.
Just watching the Ohio State game early in the season. Now, granted, Ohio State has good offensive line prospects. I actually mocked Wyatt Davis in the first round.
Yep.
But Oweh is a great player on the outside. I think in your defense, he'd be even better with that big defensive line that you guys showed off in the Super Bowl. But I want to go one other spot with you, and I want to ask you this quick because we got 2.5 minutes until the Chargers go. I think it's all but a lock now that Mac Jones is going 15 in New England.
Yeah.
But here is my question to you. Do the Bucs take a flyer on Kyle Trask at 32? Listen, he's phenomenal. He's great. He is the GOAT. And for me to say that with where this man went to college, you know I'm being serious here. But Brady is pushing 50. You have no one in the system to learn the system and to back him up and to be ready, God forbid, the 40s catch. I'm 42. I know they're going to catch up to him. Which quarterback would you want to take a flyer on in this draft? Is it Kyle Trask or is it Wadey here?
I want the Buccaneers to take tonight. I want an edge tonight because JPP is a free agent next year. And with all the money tied to other people, as sad as it is, I don't know if we could afford Jason Pierre-Paul for next year. I would like Jason Oweh tonight, but tomorrow I want Kellen Mond to be a Buccaneer. I would like a late round 2 or a late round 3 pick of Kellen Mond. I think this kid's got the pizzazz to be a good quarterback. I don't know if the Bucs are going to take their QB this year, but if they do, Kellen Mond has the strongest arm perhaps in this year's draft, and it wouldn't cost you today's pick. And at that point, not to sound like this guy, but the Bucs don't really need anything. So what do you got to lose if you take a flyer in Kellen Mond on day 2?
I agree. I think Kellen Mond is a day 2 pick as well. Very strong arm. You're absolutely right. He did turn some heads. South Carolina, right?
No, he went to Texas Tech, I believe.
That's right. Okay. Who was the quarterback from South Carolina with the cannon who couldn't do much else?
Texas A&M. I'm sorry, not Texas Tech. The kid on South Carolina was I know who you're talking about. Let me see here. It's not ringing a bell.
No, it's not. That's why I thought it was Mond. Bless you.
No, it wasn't Mond, but Kellen Mond perhaps does it. He just has a weird throwing motion. You know, he kind of comes to the side with his arm a little bit, so that's why people are a little down on Mond. But I mean, he's been a winner throughout his college career. He's only 21 and he's 6'3" coming in. So I mean, he's a good build. People project him to be a late 3rd or early 4th round pick. You could get him in the late 3rd tomorrow. I think that would be pretty good. But he finished his career at Texas A&M as one of 3 SEC quarterbacks, along with Tim Tebow and Dak Prescott, to record over 9,000 career passing yards with 1,500 rushing yards.
Wow.
That's pretty good company.
Yeah, that really is.
He had 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So that's pretty good numbers through the year, and then he had 4 rushing touchdowns as well. So
that's crazy. That's big numbers, and that's in a good conference, obviously in the SEC. The Chargers pick is going to be my last pick of the night, but I want to extend the invitation to you for the Big Rican draft wrap up. We're going to do that probably next week sometime. I'll let you know exactly when. Alex has said he's in. I'm hoping you can do it. The guy who did the mock draft with us, Frank, I'm going to try and get him to do it.
I'm
Yeah, I
in.
want to get into that
Sounds
with you
like
guys
a fun time.
as well. But let's see. So the Mel's best available. Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. I like him here for the Chargers.
I like him here for the Chargers too. They have Justin Herbert, obviously perhaps the best quarterback from last year's draft. No, one of the best, so you could argue maybe the best, but they need to protect him at all costs. We've seen what happened to Joe Burrow last year. Tua is pretty fragile as well. They need to protect Justin Herbert. They need to make sure he stays upright. He already has good wide receivers with Allen and Williams. I think a good offensive lineman would do him justice here, but Chargers defense could also use a little bit of tooling, although they're paying some D-backs bigger money. Their front seven could use a little help as well.
So let me ask you this. Would you go interior offensive line with Vera from USC, or do you go with Slater on the exterior tackle from Northwestern?
I'd go Slater here. I think Slater is a more premier offensive line talent.
No, I listen, I like the tackles because they protect the blind side and the front side, especially. Who's playing running back for the Chargers?
Running back for the Chargers right now, they have a plethora of him. They have Justin Jackson back there as well. They have the rookie Kelly from last year. They took him in the middle rounds, and then their starting running back though is I'm drawing a damn blank here, but Austin Eckler, and then they have Kelly and Jackson. So you could go Kelly and Jackson back and forth at second and third, but Austin Eckler's your starting running back. And that guy, he was an undrafted free agent who ended up getting a hell of a payday himself. So I think running backs really are a dime a dozen this day in the NFL. It shows in their backfield. Justin Jackson, Kelly and Eckler, all different backgrounds from round pick wise. Kelly mid rounds, Jackson early rounds, and Eckler undrafted. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they should go offensive line though.
And they did, as Rashawn Slater goes to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wow.
Look, and Patty Fitz is at the draft with him. I love it.
Pat Fitzgerald's there?
Yeah, he was with Slater. And this is the first suit I think I would wear.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, Pat. Listen, I'm going to touch on Pat Fitz, and then I'm going to sign off. But listen, you want to talk about a guy at a quote-unquote non-football school building a phenomenal program. 2 trips in the last 3 years to the Big Ten championship game. Ran into a buzzsaw on Ohio State, but played 2 tough games against that team. I mean, he is – and Slater's a dog. Slater is a dog.
I agree.
I mean, they're showing tape from the Ohio State game at Northwestern a couple of years ago. Yeah, he's going face up on Chase Young and just owning him.
Yeah, I think, there was Penny Sewell, there was Slater, and there were a couple more O-linemen. Slater clearly was the second best O-lineman.
Yeah, Vera from USC is another good one. Like I said, Wyatt Davis from Ohio State is a very good offensive lineman. He's interior though. But yeah, listen, I love this pick for the Chargers, especially with the young quarterback. I love this pick for the Chargers with the weapons they already have.
Yep.
So we'll see once I'm off the air. I think 15, we all know who's going there. You have told me who you want for your boys. I have seen Brown's Twitter explode and say, oh, well, we need a defensive back or a wide receiver. I disagree. I think the Browns need a linebacker for one very simple reason. Chad Henne scrambled 14 yards and screwed the Browns out of going to the AFC Championship game. So there's that. So, Tone, why don't you tell us where we can find all your stuff online, and then I'm going to sign off and get some stuff done and get to bed.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Mike. I really do appreciate it. I know I missed the last episode or two due to some bum internet troubles, but I'm honored to be here on draft night. It's been a hell of a time tonight. I've had a lot of fun running back and forth, watching the draft with my dad and brother, and then coming back and here and helping break down the draft. I think it was a really fun time. It was incredible. Hopefully next year we could do it again. And then you could follow me at Tricky Tones BGTE, and then you could follow my content at Bucketeers on YouTube and on Twitter, Google, Spotify, Apple as well. And then Cracker Jacks, Cardboard and Cracker Jacks. You could follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Cracker Jacks Pod. So you can keep up with Bucketeers, Cracker Jacks Pod, and myself. And I look forward to next time, Mike. Thanks again.
Anytime, Tone. And you have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of the draft. And I'll see you next week some point in time. We'll do the recap show. Okay, buddy?
Sounds great, man. Have a great night.
Take care of yourself, buddy. So that wraps up the second annual Big Rican on Sports live NFL draft reaction. I know we did a little bit more last year. We're cutting it short this year because I got some stuff we got to get done. But you can find Big Rican on all the platforms you're watching on here: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, on Twitter. The Twitter handle at Big Rican on Sport. Of course, Facebook, Big Rican on Sports. Same thing with the YouTube channel. Anchor, Google, Spotify. As my phone does it again when I say that word, Google answers. So Anchor, Google, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. As I said at the beginning of the show, as a proud member of the TimesQ Podcast Network at timesq.com. These boys at TimesQ, this is what they know, and fantasy football is what they know. So come find these guys with all your questions. Thanks again for watching. We'll talk to you later next week with a draft recap show. Take care, everybody.